Here's something I bet you didn't know. Long before he showed up as Jim the Vampire on What We Do in the Shadows, Mark Hamill played Count Dracula for an obscure Frederator series, Mina and the Count. The show was created by Rob Renzetti, who directed one of my favorite Family Guy episodes, the one where the Griffin household is a microstate called Pretoria. This wasn't a full-fledged animated show, but a series of shorts that aired on What a Cartoon and Oh Yeah Cartoons, seeing the Count sneaking into the Harker household to feed on Mina, only to discover that she's a little girl. What follows is an unlikely friendship between the reluctant Count and his eager young admirer. There's 6 shorts, all around 7 minutes in length, featuring familiar sitcom antics with a Transylvania twist. Mina resurrects a dissected frog, the Count helps her intimidate a school bully, they dress her as a werewolf after we learn that it's illegal among monsters to befriend humans. My favorite is The Vampire Who Came to Dinner. The dinner scene is, I think, the most critical moment in any Dracula story. Specifically, it is the delightfully devilish lengths to which the Count goes in order to hide his true nature. Where Klaus Kinski succumbs to his cravings in a humiliating and violent display, and Frank Langella suffers a moment of private shame, Mark Hamill's Dracula swallows a bite of garlic souffle in order to make his little friend happy.
Garlic souffle! Delicious!
I think this series grasps the appeal of having a monster for a friend better than something like Hotel Transylvania. Dracula is dangerous. He's first seen sipping a glass of human blood, and he continues to lust after the veins of appropriately aged women like Mina's sister. His visual design embraces the sharp points and edges of the character, quite literally, with his claw-like talons and bat ears. I think they strike a nice balance between Kinski and Lugosi. By and large, the show's not so different from anything else that was running on Cartoon Network in the late 90s. It's got that Butch Hartman, Dexter's Lab, thick-line Art Deco cutout look. A few years later, you'd get The Grimm Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and that's basically this, but better. And Billy and Mandy's got its own offbeat take on Dracula too, played by Phil Lamar.
Now, Dracula gonna separate you into 2 groups, ugly and dummy. You ugly, you ugly, you ugly, you a dummy.
But this is one of those Dracula things that's worth watching simply because it's got a pretty good Dracula in it. There's not much to say about Mark Hamill that hasn't been said. He's fantastic, one of the greatest voice actors of any generation. He uses a Lugosi accent for the Count, and while that might sound like the most obvious approach to the voice, he has a lot of fun with it, rolling his R's and drawing out his vowels like, I don't know, Coltrane bending favorite things in every possible direction.
Closer, darling, closer and deeper into my power.
It would have been worth getting a full season out of this cartoon just to have some more of Hamill's Dracula voice on the record.
How was that? Did you get it on tape? Well, stop the machine!
You know, this is why AI voices won't be more than a novelty in our lifetimes. A voice performance is not the sound of the voice itself, it's the countless intuitive decisions an actor makes, the subtle inflections. You can get a computer to sound like Mark Hamill, but you'll never teach it to like its job like he does.